Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Walking Dead video leading up to the return for The Walking Dead with its Season 9 premiere this Sunday night. In this one, we're going to give our thoughts first. How we're feeling right now. AMC just released another new kind of faces promo or, portraits. Type of promo every picture, and then also we're going to give our thoughts on Reedus saying that he plans on staying in The Walking Dead until the very end. So I wanted to definitely post a video today for Walking Dead with you guys and give our thoughts on some of the new stuff that's coming out for this season. There's lots of new interviews and all that stuff because we're so close to the premiere now, with the premiere literally being this Sunday night. So we literally just have, 4 days here. So we're pretty much right on it. This is Walking Dead week. Fear the Walking Dead is over, and I know a lot of you guys are celebrating that Fear is over because there's a lot of hate for Fear right now. So that's what it is. So we'll probably do a aggressive comments type of video on Fear before the Walking Dead season 9 starts, maybe tomorrow or the next day. And just go through some of the fun, kind of angry comments about Fear the Walking Dead right now, because a lot of people are... Fear is a series where, and this is not a Fear video, this is a Walking Dead video, but Fear is a series that ever since it started, since the very beginning, it's a series that never quite satisfied fans, and it always just basically was a source, like a pain point for Walking Dead fans, or something that Walking Dead fans could really bitch about, except for maybe the third season. Aside from that, it's like all the time. So we're getting closer now. The first link will be to the Every Picture trailer video. If you guys didn't see it, it's on AMC's channel, and they've released the first several minutes of the episode, so you can watch that too in their channel. They've got all kinds of different little, clips and stuff like that. They're doing the marathon this week, I think, on AMC for, the original Walking Dead. This one's pretty cool. At the beginning, you can see the hat at the front, and it's like a portraits video. You see everyone's face in every picture, and you see Daryl, you see Maggie, you see all the others, and then they show you little clips from the season that a lot of them we've already seen, but there's a few little new angles in there and stuff like that we get to see in this one. And, of course, it ends off with Rick at the end of it. And Episode 5, if you guys have missed the recent videos, Episode 5 is the episode to watch for. And we're going to get our, final definitive answer here, whether or not there's any way that Rick can JSS or just survive somehow out of this episode, or if that's it for him. And basically the deal was that Andrew Lincoln wanted to be killed off after 9 years, or 8.5 if you want to be technical, years of being in the series and being in the show, and that's the end for him. So obviously, for a lot of us, we're pretty upset about that. And just watching these promos and these trailers, man, it's sad. Like even this one too. I'm watching it through, and I haven't heard too many comments from you guys, except for the video I did where I was saying The Walking Dead season 9 is making me depressed, and it still kind of is, because you watch these trailers and stuff, and usually every year we kind of break them down, we go through them, and we give our thoughts on particulars, maybe do some predictions on what we think we might see based on any new footage they give us. And this year, when I'm watching these through, I'm just getting such an emotional response to them. Like, it's so sad. Even you just see their every picture, you just see their faces and stuff, and you see Eugene, he's sad, and some of the others, and they all look sad. And it's like, God damn, man, this is going to be, what did Scott Gimple say? It's going to be heavy, right? For John Bernthal's return. I think the whole half season is going to be heavy. Like, this sounds like it's going to be the heaviest season, the most emotional half season The Walking Dead has ever had, and maybe any TV series has ever had, because I never thought we would see this. I never thought in my whole life that we would see... I mean, we always kind of had talked about it as like a fan topic, like, could it work without Rick? Could they eventually kill Rick off? Would it be able to continue without Rick? And it was always kind of one of those questions. But most of us, we're sitting here thinking, like, no matter what they have to do, whatever they have to pay him, if he has to go back to the UK to be with his family, and it's difficult for him to do that, you'd almost think that AMC would offer to like buy him a freaking another house here or something and give it to him, like to be like, okay, have your family and here's an unlimited fly pass or whatever, you guys can fly back and forth as much as you want. How much is it going to add up to be? Whatever it is a year, it's like it would have been worth it for them to do almost anything to keep him in the show. Like, it would have been worth it to literally buy him a mansion, give him a mansion, and say, okay, shuttle your kids back and forth. Here's an unlimited travel pass or whatever, and we'll pay for it all. Here's a card. You put it on the card. It'll be an expense to keep you, negotiations to keep you in the show or whatever. Like, almost anything they had to do, it would have, almost been worth it, within reason to to do for the series. But it sounds like it's way too late for that now because, whatever it was, it's got to come to an end at some point, I guess, that original story, and it looks like it's going to be soon. So very emotional, still really emotional. I'm sure that's not going to end. This is going to be an emotional month because we have 4 and then the 5th episode, so a month and a week. And this is going to be absolutely crazy, man. I can start to see all the comments coming through now. So let me know how you guys are feeling. How do you feel about these promos? How do you feel when you're watching them? Leave a comment below on that. Like, as you're watching these new things come out, are you just rejecting of them where you don't care, you don't want to see them at all? Is it like, does it make you sad to see, especially when we see the cap, the hat, and stuff like that, or the fact that they're doing like the earlier seasons and stuff like this, and their marathon and everything? It's like, damn, dude. Or they show Carl when he's really young, Chandler when he's really young and everything. And some of them, it's like, god damn, it's crazy, right? So leave those comments below. Let me know what you guys think about that one. That's basically my thoughts on the every picture. I mean, it doesn't contain that much new. And when I watch it through, it's not that I can focus on it anyway, because the limbic system emotional triggers. It's like, oh, man. It's like they're gonna do this. So the other one is good news. It's that Norman Reedus has told The Hollywood Reporter, there's a link in the description to it as well, too, you guys can check out, that Walking Dead star Norman Reedus never wants to leave the AMC zombie drama. So it says here, so the actor behind Daryl Dixon opens up about losing Andrew Lincoln and why he has no plans to follow his friend and colleague's lead. So this is a quote here, I started on season 1 of the show and I would love to bookend it. So this is cool, man. This sounds like Norman Reedus is in it to the end, right? He's going to be in it until the end of the series, or, he has no plans of leaving anytime soon. He wants to stay as long as he can, and that's great. I think I saw an article that he bought a house or something for like $11 million or something. I don't know. There's articles online. Don't get mad at me, Norman. I love Daryl. It's not. But, he deserves it, right? Whatever they got to pay, because it's going to kill the show if everybody leaves. So we need, as Rick leaves, this is going to be crazy. If AMC is really going to keep The Walking Dead going for another decade, is what they're saying they're going to try for. If Rick is to leave right now, that's season 9. Is it possible that Norman Reedus or Daryl could actually kind of become the most screen time character, or the actual eventual lead for The Walking, like to the point where I know it's going to be an ensemble and he's really rejecting of these kind of theories or this kind of thing, but if he's going to stay in it until the end, is it possible that it could kind of become Daryl's show, or eventually it could get to the point where he has more screen time than Rick did? Like, if you look at another 5 or 10 seasons, if he's in every episode and he's working hard in the show and he's doing all that, is it possible that The Walking Dead could actually kind of become Daryl's series? Overall, like, as you're looking at the length of things. And I don't mean to upset people. I know it's an emotional time, right? Like, I can hear the comments right now in all caps. That caps lock button's broken, right? Just being like, Daryl would never replace Rick, right? I can just hear people saying that, so, and that's not really what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that when you look at the overall time of it, is it possible that eventually we could look at The Walking Dead and say, like, oh yeah, that was Rick's season up until there, and then Daryl passed in or something? And not that he's going to take over the groups. It sounds like he's not going to be the leader of all the joint communities, but he'll continue to be who Daryl is, and an anti-hero in that way, as Norman Reedus has said in interviews. But I'm happy for it. And it's, again, as you're losing certain people from the show that have been in the series for a long time, each one that you have becomes even more important. So as you lose Rick, Daryl's more important than he was before. The other characters are more important than they were before, because someone has to fill out those 16 episodes. We got characters like Negan, for example, that if Rick was there all the way through, maybe he wouldn't get as much time. So the fact that Rick isn't there, it opens up for all these other characters to kind of have even more time, screen time, than they would have otherwise had, because, of course, Rick has the most screen time of any character in the series. Which is what it should be, because he's basically been the lead of the series all the way up until now. But obviously, if he's going to be killed off in episode 5, then that can't continue on further. So, all in all, I think that part is great news, that at least Norman is letting us know that he's committed. As long as they don't make any crazy season 8 mid-season finale decisions and decide to kill him off like they did with Carl, then it's like, okay, you at least have your, some of these very important characters like Daryl, Michonne, Carol, some of the others as well too. Even some that have come in more recently, like Ezekiel and that, who will probably get quite a bit of time, even though he's still fairly new. We've been in the show for a few years or a couple years or whatever. So happy to hear that he's in it for the long haul, and whatever they have, again, whatever they have to do, whatever they have to pay him or whatever, he deserves it. Because you don't want at least as a fan of the series, is like you don't want to see the whole thing die, right? And you don't want to see it die a bad death to where it's like they've decided it's going to last this long. You want to see some of those prominent, important characters be in it for the long haul. We should probably never get to a point where everybody is dead and it's got a fully new cast and it's like season 13 and there's nobody in it that was in it from the first 5 seasons or something. You always should have at least a couple people, at least a few people that are in it for the long haul, whatever they got to do. So there's that one. And there's also one from Robert Kirkman where he gave his thoughts on the television series version of The Whisperers. And he said they're a bit different from the comics, but he doesn't get into particulars of how they're different. He just says basically that he did that stuff 10 years ago and it's boring for him now, so he wants to see them kind of do things differently. And certainly it sounds like the series is going to be different, right? But they're still going to follow the same path as the Walking Dead comic book series, so there's that. But the Whisperers are going to be somewhat different from how they were in the comics. So will they, use firearms or something? We'll have to see. Or maybe they'll have different tactics or different strategies. And things will just be different for the Whisperers, which is cool. We're going to see them different and keep us on our edge of our seats and, see how everything goes through this season. Epic Zombie Killer sent through a good question. I'll go through a couple for today, and then we'll kind of wrap up. He said, hey, Trev, did you hear the news that Jeffery Dean Morgan wants to do a standalone Negan movie? It'd be interesting. I'd definitely watch, but what do you think of this news? P.S. It's crazy to think we've had Negan on the show for 2 years already. And well, the season 6 finale too, if you really want to count that. And they were talking about him before he actually showed up, so it's almost like 2.5 years now, right? 7 and 8, and then the back half of 6 was Saviors Concentrated. So yeah, so he's been in the show for a while now already, and he's gotten a lot of screen time too. Like if you look at the last 2 years or whatever, he's gotten a lot of episodes. He's gotten a lot of time as well too, which is great. And yeah, man, I would love to see, and that's true too. Even though all this stuff is going on, and it's really sad and it can be depressing, and it's going to be for a little while as we see this whole thing go through. There are other things that maybe I hadn't thought about when you get that first emotional response that you hear that this is going to happen with Rick. It's like you don't care about anything, but then it's like, well, that's true, and I think a lot of us are feeling that way right now, and I think that's normal for this time for us to feel that way. But, there are some other things that they can do that could be really good, to see a Negan origin movie, I think would be awesome if they could do a TV movie for that, or even some, flashback episodes or something, like one episode of a season, a flashback of Negan and how he became Negan would be really cool. So I would like to see anything like that. But I'm a big Negan fan, and I know not everybody is, right? Not everybody likes the guy. So that's me. Not everybody is on board with that, but I certainly would love to see something like that. And it could be something they could replay a whole bunch of times if they do a TV movie, right? So it could be really cool. So I would personally love to see that. They could do a Talking Dead episode after or something, and make a whole thing out of it, and I'm sure it would do all right. Terry Sacravitch says Morgan won't be back to Alexandria to see Rick before he leaves. And that's true, man. If Andrew Lincoln is really done filming his last scene of The Walking Dead, and he'll never film another one, if that's really true, then Morgan will never see Rick again. This is where I'm talking about sad stuff, right? Depressing stuff. It's like, no matter what you think, it just triggers it, man. It's like, oh, that's sad, right? Because you always want to think like Morgan left, he ran, and he always thinks about Rick, and I'm sure he would have planned on seeing him at some point. He would have thought that Rick doesn't die either. It's like, we don't die. It's like, I don't die. It's like, yeah, he probably would think Rick doesn't die either. He's one of those. He's one of those like me. And that's really sad that we won't get to see Lenny James and Andrew Lincoln do any more scenes in the future. I mean, here's to hoping there's some kind of craziness going on, but it really doesn't sound like it from all the recent interviews and stuff. So that's really sad. They'll never meet again, right? Morgan left, and unfortunately, during that time, that happened. But yes, people have pointed out the timelines are not exactly the same, and that's true, they're not. So at current time, for Fear the Walking Dead right now, I believe Rick is still alive. But, if the actor will never do another scene, then, of course, Morgan and him will never meet again. There's no way they could do it. And Stephen Merrill will ask the last one here, who says, "Hey, Trev, I was hoping you could do an updated version of your top 10 favorite Walking Dead episodes. Thanks for all your hard work, and you make watching The Walking Dead feel more meaningful, knowing I can watch your videos after watching the shows and read the comics." So thanks, Steve. And I should do a review for the comics soon, a new comic issue today, so that'll be posted for you guys pretty soon. But updating some of the top 10 lists and stuff like that. We will. I think we will, but it's just the series is so in flux right now. Like, if I was to do a top 10 favorite characters right now, it's like I can't even do that because it's just like, man, we just don't even know who's even going to be alive, and it's just it's hard to do top 10s or things like that when they've done so many episodes now. But I do have a running list that I keep, and then as we see new episodes come out that are really standout episodes, we incorporate them into the list. So after this half season is done, I'm sure episode 5 kind of has to be in there because it's one of the biggest events of the series. But then again, you could say like it's the worst episode ever because of what it entails, right? And what it's going to include. So it should be like in the top 10 worst episodes ever because, it could hurt the show more than anything they've ever done. But we'll have to see. You never know how audiences are going to react. You never know how crowds are going to react to something like that. But the easy prediction would be that they kill him off, everybody rejects it, and doesn't want to watch anymore. Like that's probably the easy prediction to make. But again, Game of Thrones kind of showed that that's not always the case. Sometimes you go the opposite way. You can kill off the lead in the very first season and the third season and, whoever else, and even more people will come to watch. So we'll see how it all goes down, man. And at least we got some good news that Daryl is in it till the end. Unless you don't like Daryl, then it's bad news for you. But I'm happy at least to hear that we have some commitment from some of the crew that they're in it to win it. They're in it till the end. And so we don't feel abandoned, right? We're like a child that's been abandoned by their Walking Dead parent, right? Rick has left us. Daddy's gone, right? So I feel abandoned. I'm gonna cry. So it's like, oh God. So okay, that'll be wrapping it for today. I'll see you guys back again soon for another Walking Dead video. I'll try not to make it too long because lots of stuff coming out now. And let me know where you guys are at. How are you feeling? What do you think about everything? And I want to see more comments because I see all the stuff in Fear. My comments list right now is just like flooded with angry comments about Fear, but nobody really is leaving any comments about Walking Dead. So season 9 is this weekend, guys. Let me know where you're at. Or are you totally just rejecting of the show right now to where you don't even want to think about it? Let me know. Thumb up the video, share it, favorite, and that's it for this one. I'll see you guys again soon for another. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace later, guys. I'll see you soon.